That is the story of what's going on here. So you can say people speak Trump, they love the weave. I get it. I never loved it, but I understand that people like it. What they like more is money in their pockets, and he's not delivering on that.
But for the Democrats to come in after they raised tuition, after they raised health care costs with Obamacare, after they raised energy prices with the Green New scam and utility prices and gas prices, and then come in and say, oh, well, you know, the cost of living is high. You guys have nothing.
Jessica Tarlov gets completely shredded by Jesse Waters after pretending like she suddenly cares about affordability while twisting the reality on Trump's affordability tour. Let's get into it.
And after saying zilch about the last guy, Democrats are itching to blame every economic headache on Trump.
I'll tell you, we used to say that a president can't impact the economy that much. Donald Trump has proven us wrong. He is destroying it right in front of our very eyes.
Okay, what do you say about, I mean, Dana makes the point, which I think is the strongest one, is that you guys have no credibility because you never cared about affordability until your guy lost.
Yeah, so that's not really how this works.
Oh, really?
No.
Explain to me how it works.
Since you asked. No, well, it's a two-party system. People show up to vote, and they decide between those two options. And historically speaking, the midterms are going to go against the president. The question is, how big is that margin going to be? But Dana said, rightly so, that was what my nodding was, that Donald Trump, if he says, I got you, I'm working on it, that people can hear that and that can resonate. But the problem is that it's not one night, it's not 2 nights, it's like 320 nights that he's had to work on it, and he's put into place policies that are making it worse.
How does Jessica sit up there and pretend like the Democrats didn't spend trillions, drive prices up, and wreck wages, and then have the nerve to act as if Trump is the one destroying the economy because he isn't fixing the problem they caused fast enough? We remember the 9% inflation. We lived it and we paid for it.
And last night's rally, I understand it's all going to be chopped up, and that's how people are going to consume it, but it is basically an in-kind contribution to the Democrats. The midterm ads will be full of Donald Trump from last night, saying, you can give up pencils, you don't need that many, you don't need $37 for your daughter, 2 or 3 is nice, so we're doing things right. Prices are going down. My favorite word is tariff. I just helped our farmers out because they're starting to do really well. The tariffs are making them rich. There is not a farmer that you could find to do an interview that is saying, I have been made rich because of Donald Trump's tariff policy. And last night, Democrats were also busy in Florida and in Georgia. So there's going to be a new mayor of Miami, Eileen Higgins, a Democrat, hasn't won there in decades. I know, before you say it, Brian, there was an independent who was in there in the early 2000s. Still, Kamala Harris won by 1 point, Miami County. She won by 19 points. We flipped another seat in Georgia. So far in 2025, Dems have flipped 25 GOP-held seats. The GOP have flipped 0. That is the story of what's going on here. So you can say people speak Trump, they love the weave. I get it. I never loved it, but I understand that people like it. What they like more is money in their pockets, and he's not delivering on that.
Again, it's like Bonnie and Clyde lecturing you on public safety. But it's true. I mean, it's hard to take seriously.
I didn't even
you
talk
guys
about the
didn't
border.
care. Anyway.
They didn't care, but if they can find an angle, any angle, to try and go against Trump, they'll take it, even if that means pretending like they've always cared about affordability.
Can we talk about why these comparisons are crazy? Like, let's paint a visual picture for the audience at home. You can look at the chart of inflation over the last 50 years, right? And you'll see 2 big bumps. 2 big bumps. On top of those big bumps are Jimmy Carter and Joe Biden. And those cliffs that fall off are Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump. Your dollar is worth 20% less right now today because of 21% CPI inflation under Joe Biden. Your wages are $3,000 less because your average salary and your real American wages went down by $3,000. That's a Joe Biden thing.
Okay,
I'm not saying everything's crazy.
No, they don't want to talk about that. As usual, it's time to change the subject when the truth starts pouring out. The double standard is unbelievable. Does anyone remember how Obama blamed George Bush for 8 straight years in an attempt to cover his own failures? But they expect Trump to take full responsibility for Biden's economic disaster and reverse it in less than a year. It's ridiculous. Now, Jesse Waters is about to put Jessica on blast, and when you hear her solution to affordability, you'll see he had no choice.
Jesse.
No, you were right. I mean, they have no credibility at all on any domestic policy, and it's fresh in everyone's head. And they're running on fixing a problem they created, and they won't tell you how they're going to fix it. They don't have a plan to lower prices.
Repeal tariffs.
No one's running on that, Jessica.
Well, you should
Not a
try
single
it.
person. You haven't said it. No one's talking about revoking the trade deals. No one's even running on that, okay? And what did Jerome Powell say today? Jerome Powell came out and said inflation is moving down towards 2%. And they revised the growth projection for next year. And then they announced they're buying $40 billion in treasuries, and the market roared. It roared, Jessica. Next year is going to be insane. We're going to have multiple rate cuts. Housing costs are going to come down, and incomes are going to go up because the big, beautiful bill kicks in. That means no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security, and that's when you get all the business tax cuts. Also, that's when all the foreign investment comes in, and so you're going to see these big AI centers sprout up, and next year they're projecting to be the greatest economic year since the 80s. Now, will it be enough to save the Republicans in the midterms? Probably not. But that's okay. This is a long-term deal. You're going to lose the House. You may keep the Senate. I'll take that. But for the Democrats to come in after they raised tuition, after they raised health care costs with Obamacare, after they raised energy prices with the Green New scam and utility prices and gas prices, and then come in and say, oh, well, you know, the cost of living is high. You guys have nothing. You know you have nothing, and all you're relying on is the two-party system, that the fickle voter is just going to get sick of whoever's in power. You're going to put in the next party, and that's all you got. And what are you going to do with power? You're going to do nothing. Or you're going to do the same thing you did last time, which is open the border, spend trillions of dollars, and make prices go up again.
No, but that is an interesting point. Game it out. What if they did win back the House?
Yeah, what's your plan?
What would you do?
don't have
You know what they would do? Launch
You don't have a
impeachment.
plan,
It would be
Jessica. You're not
impeachment.
I don't think-
We haven't even talked about the wild card, which is healthcare in all of this. The GOP is scrambling to try to get something done. You have, which seems like reasonable voices, like Josh Hawley saying that you
Jessica,
absolutely
it's your
have to.
program.
It doesn't.
Your program
it doesn't
is
matter.
busting everyone's
guess what?
pocketbooks.
Your
All right,
people
kids.
are on it, and they're going to get a 400%
We're all on
increase.
it, Jessica.
You're
it's
not.
our
Hammer to my
people. It's
face.
our people.
It's
You guys
more
blew
of
up
your
the
voters
program.
than ours.
Hammer to
And
my
they all
face.
stole from
Greg
it.
is telling you to be
Hammer to my-
quiet.
I love how every time Jessica tries to defend the indefensible Democratic talking points, she always gets hit with a reality check. She brings up these vague talking points and gets shut down with cold hard facts every single time. The truth is, the economy is improving under Trump. But no, of course, it's not fully recovered yet, because that takes time. And Trump himself even warned us that things would take time, and that things might even be a little tough at first. But he also asked us to be patient, and we would eventually see the benefits of his tariff plan. The sad truth is, Biden drove prices up so high that it can't be fixed overnight, or even in the first year. But there's no denying the early progress, even if Democrats refuse to acknowledge it. Jessica sits up there and talks about election wins, strategies, and messaging, but did you hear her say anything about policy? Because I didn't. Her only solution was to repeal the tariffs. It's almost like she intentionally avoids policy conversations, and it's probably because her party has no policies that actually solve anything. Just think about it. They created the healthcare system, built the bureaucracy, promised affordability, caused inflation, but spent trillions, drove wages down, jacked rent prices up, flooded the country with millions of illegal immigrants, which in turn raised the cost for just about every single basic service. Yet they have the nerve to blame, complain, and criticize, but offer no actual plan, no solution whatsoever. We'll never hear them explain how they'll lower inflation, cut costs, improve wages, or dare I even say, fix healthcare. Meanwhile, they choose to ignore the broader economic picture under Trump, and the fact that it's definitely improving. Gas prices are dropping, oil is down, the stock market is booming and even hitting new highs. Car insurance is becoming more affordable, and the rental market seems to be stabilizing. Not only that, but Trump's agenda is driving real investments into the United States, from data centers, AI infrastructure, mineral deals, and please, let's not forget about all the manufacturing expansions. The truth is, recovery is underway, and these are measurable changes. And although all of that is happening, Jessica still refuses to talk about it because it exposes their role in the crisis. She's always talking about her party winning elections, but never what they've done or will actually do to make people's lives better, because their entire platform is built on attacking Trump. So yeah, I feel like the Democrats running on affordability is almost a joke at this point.